Welcome to the coffee shop, everybody. This is your host and barista, Eric. Hang on. Should it be baristo instead of barista? I've been saying barista all this time. It should be baristo. You can tell by the sound of my voice, I am not a woman, right? I'm assuring you, I am not a woman. Okay, so we got something interesting for you today. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a volume trading. Let me try this again. A volume scalping trading strategy. Am I not saying that right? Volume scalping strategy that you can use with the Heiken Ashi Algo. It's a wonderful strategy because the Algo has so many features on it that plot onto your screen. And for this strategy, you can really turn a lot of them off. You don't necessarily need them, okay? To do this, all you need are your Heiken Ashi candles, okay? You need your Heiken Ashi candles, your RSI moving average, and the relative strength index line, the RSI, all right? So let's get into the settings. I'll show you what to do, and you'll be able to get started with this in just a few minutes. So open Trading View. Go to your indicators tab, right? And if you don't already have it, look for Heiken Ashi Algo, right? And you can see it in the oscillators, Heiken Ashi Algo oscillator. Add it to your favorites, add it to your chart. Go and leave a comment, boost it. Make sure you boost it, all right? I want to get this thing popular. We got to do that. And that's done with the help of you guys. I think I need to boost it myself. I don't think I boosted my own script. So you added it to your chart, and let's go and open it up and jump right into how this works, okay? First of all, I got to say thank you. Let me say thank you to all the people that came through, left me messages. I have been boosting the script so far. I put it up last night, and I woke up to a nice surprise this morning. There's a whole bunch of you really helping this thing take off. Also, I noticed that one of the people who boosted the script, I don't know if you can see it on my screen, I would have to try and find it. One of the people who boosted the script is somebody called Admin. Here it is. Hello, Admin. And apparently Admin is one of the TradingView admins. How nice. I thank you, TradingView admin and admins and moderators for boosting this script as well. Thank you. Now, so add it to your chart and go into the settings. Let's go directly to the style tab. Now, this is a whole lot of information over the audio. You can go to the description below and be able to get all this as well. All right, now let's go here. What I'm going to do, you don't have to do this. I'm turning off my long exit, short exit, support and resistance levels, okay? I'm also turning off the buy and sell signals. The only things that you need to have turned on is your RSI moving average. And to start with, you can set your RSI to yellow or green, and you can change your moving average to red, okay? Let me kind of brighten mine up a little. There. Change your moving average to red. Now, I'm choosing the RSI to be, let's say, green, and the moving average to be red is because you want one above the other to be able to go long or short, and they have to be in a certain position on the chart. On the oscillator. So usually green means buy when it's above the red line, and green means sell when it's below the red line, right? So that's why I'm saying green here and red here. I'm choosing yellow and red because I just want to. Now, you have your RSI moving average, your Heiken Ashi candles. That's all you really need. What I want you to do is I want you to go down, and I want you to turn off your slow stochastic and turn off your fast stochastic. You do not need this, okay? The other thing that I want you to do is I want you to look in here. See these upper bands and lower bands, so on? You want to turn on the 70, and you want to turn on the 30. You need the 70 and 30 level to be visible. This strategy only takes place up until these bands, okay? When Heiken Ashi or your RSI comes above the 70 level, you get out. When Heiken Ashi or the RSI comes below the 30 levels, you get out. That would be the end of a sell, and this would be end of a buy, right? The end of a long, okay? As you can see here, you would get out here because the Heiken Ashi closed above 70. And over here, you would have gotten out because the Heiken Ashi closed below 30. Now, there is another plot to this. For example, you see here, this is kind of an example. Let me use this one here. Here's an example. Heiken Ashi closes below 30, right? But the moving average is still above 50. So you do not exit this trade and you do not enter for a short. You don't enter for a short here. So let's go over what the rules are, okay? So I'm sorry, one more thing in the settings. You did your style tab, right? And now go to your inputs, okay? Don't worry about the stochastic settings because you're not going to be seeing those. Your RSI. Change the RSI to 18 on the close. Change the moving average type to volume weighted moving average, okay? And set that for 36. Why 36? Because 18 times 2 is 36, okay? So you need an RSI at 18. You need a moving average, volume weighted moving average at 36, okay? Now, you've got all that. Style tab, you've got all that. Sorry I missed that one earlier. Now, let's talk about the rules for these trades. The trades only take place from the 50 to the 70 or from the 50 to the 30. Going long, right? Going long or going short. Ready? Let's go. Now, let me get in here. I want to show you this one. First, I want to show you a trade that you are not supposed to take, okay? What you're looking for is your RSI has to cross up above the volume weighted moving average, okay? And that happens here, but it happens below the 50, below the midline, all right? Let me change my midline and make it more visible for this video. I'm gonna make it, I don't know, we'll make it gray and make it really bright. So now you can see it a little bit easier, right? So here you can see the cross up takes place below the 50, right? Here, this cross up takes place below the 50. And the RSI finally crosses the 50 here, but you do not enter this trade. Why? Because the moving average doesn't cross the 50 until here, okay? It's a volume weighted moving average. You need your RSI and your moving average to be above the 50, and you need your Heiken Ashi candle to close above the RSI, okay? So from the top down, let's say, it would look like this. Here's your Heiken Ashi close. It's above the RSI. Here's the RSI. It's above the moving average. Here's the moving average. It's above the 50. So you need everything above the 50. Heiken Ashi close, RSI, moving average. Okay? That's what you need. This would be your entry. All right? So you would enter here, like I already have it set, and you would exit when the RSI or the Heiken Ashi candle closes above 70. So here, I'm following the RSI, and I can see that it is not reaching 70, right? Here's the RSI. It's not reaching 70, not reaching 70. It dips down below the moving average, but it doesn't matter because the moving average did not cross the 50, okay? You don't have to get out until your moving average crosses your 50. Here's a perfect example. RSI is still moving along, doesn't reach the 50. Heiken Ashi doesn't close above 70, right? Now, your RSI does dip below the moving average, but the moving average is still way above the 50. Stay in the trade. You can get out if you want to, okay? You can get out. You can see this exit long position is here. You can get out if you want to. The algo is telling you exit long. Here again, it's telling you exit long. You can get out of this trade and be in profit here, or you can ride this out and you can exit when you're supposed to exit. Now you can see all the way over here, the RSI continues back up above the 50. It crosses the moving average, and your Heiken Ashi finally closes over here, right, on this candle. So you move this here, okay? And you end up picking this up. You close that trade out. You end up picking this up at just about 7%. And all you had to do is wait it out. This trade on a 1-hour chart took 2 days. 2 days. It's a long time to wait, but you would actually go down to a lower time frame and look for the same kind of instances, right? So again, you want to enter when your RSI crosses the moving average above the 50. Your Heiken Ashi has to close above the RSI. You enter. You stay in the trade until you ultimately exit when your Heiken Ashi or your RSI breach the 70 level. That's it. You get out. Now, this is a false short. You do not short here, right? You can see that Heiken Ashi crosses down below the volume weighted moving average, comes down below it. So this would be an entry for a short because, is that right? The Heiken Ashi closes below the RSI. Everything is closing below the moving average. Everything is in a downtrend. Do you get in here? No, because your moving average is still above the 50. You need to wait for here. Finally, your moving average comes down below the 50, but your RSI is already in an uptrend. So you do not take this trade. This is just a dip. You don't take this. This would have been a scalp, okay? Now here again, RSI breaks above the 50. RSI breaks above the moving average, but you do not enter here. You do not enter. Your Heiken Ashi breaks above the RSI, but you do not enter because your moving average is still way down here below the 50. Way down, way down, way down. Finally, it crosses here, but your Heiken Ashi is already closed above 70, so you cannot take this, okay? This is not a safe trade to take. This is usually a pump, or it's a move from one range into another range. That's it. That's all that is. If you tried to enter here when the moving average crossed above the 50 and said, hey, everything's closing above the RSI, this is great, this would have been wrong because you actually hit the highest point in the range. This is a range right here. And you can see nothing else comes as high as this. That's it. The range is over and then it dips back down. So you're looking for a short again, right? Okay. So here again, you have a cross up, right? Here it crosses up. Your RSI closes above your, your Heiken Ashi closes above your moving average and your RSI. Heiken Ashi closes above the RSI and above the moving average. The moving average crosses above the 50 here, but your RSI and Heiken Ashi are already closing down. You don't want that. You need everything to be closing in an upward position. Here, you have a cross up right here. The RSI crosses the moving average. Heiken Ashi closes above the RSI. You are above your 50, okay? Get in there. This is going to be a small one, but still, you're getting this. So here's your Heiken Ashi close, right? Above the RSI and above the moving average and above the 50 level, right? So you get in here. You go for your swing low, and you get out when the Heiken Ashi or the RSI touch the 70. And that happens right here, right at the close of this candle. Okay? End up catching that for another 1 point something. So far I haven't really seen many short trades, so we must be in the arc of an uptrend, right? Here we go. Here's a downtrend starting here. So where do you end up catching this move to the downside, right? You need the cross to take place below the 50. This takes place above the 50. You don't take it, okay? This takes place, this is not a cross. This is a cross that's above. This is a cross up. This is a cross down here. This is a cross down below the 50. So here the RSI crosses the moving average to the downside, but the Heiken Ashi is still above the RSI, below the RSI. This is your entry. Personally, what I look for is a majority of the candle to be across the RSI or across the moving average. For me, this is the entry I'm looking for. So I end up taking a short position here, get into the downside, go to the pivot, and take this down until where? Until RSI or Heiken Ashi close in the 30. That happens here. This closes hard in the 30. And you take this to the close of this candle. That's it. Moves over. Most of the time after these moves, when you get into these overbought and oversold zones, you end up, Heiken Ashi is moving up, RSI is moving up, but you are in a range. If you look at price, you'll see that you are running flat in a range, and it's no good. Now here's another cross down. It happens below the 50 level, right? But you don't take this one because why? Because it's already closing in the 30 level. So you don't want to take this. This is just dropping down into another range. And that's pretty much it. Okay, 15 minutes of telling you that. It's a really simple strategy to use. So I hope you pick it up. And let's see how this works for you. Also, that very first move that I took, you have to realize something that here, let's see, where is that? There, and where's the other one? I don't see the other one. Okay, so this would have been better if I actually had this rehearsed and like laid out for you. I turned off my support and resistance levels. That's why I don't see. So I wanted to show you something. This line at one point was support, and then it became resistance, which allowed me to enter a short position. Here it is. So here it was support. Okay, here it was support. And then here it became resistance, which was an entry for a short. Which is entry for a short position here. It was an entry for a long position here. Same resistance levels. It showed up 2 times across the board. So leave your support and resistance levels on there. You have to mark these. Okay. Let me turn my back on. Support, resistance. Right? There you go. You can see this is resistance. I put a mark here. Now that's that line. If I go this way, I can see that that line is the same line all the way over here. Okay, right there. It's also resistance here. Same line all the way across. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that strategy. Should be easy to do. You get in on the cross up above the 50. Your moving average must also be above the 50. You get in for a short on a cross down below the 50. Your moving average must also be below the 50. And you get out when your Heiken Ashi or your RSI are in the oversold area, or you get out when your Heiken Ashi or your RSI are in the overbought area. If they are already in these areas, when your crossover takes place, you do not take that trade because you are entering into a range. Here is a perfect example. The crossover took place. It's down here. The moving average is way too high. The Heiken Ashi candle is right here. And what's happening in this area? Range. There's a range here. Okay? That's it. Enjoy, peeps.